Good afternoon, you guys. It is a beautiful, loud... Shh. She listens. Good afternoon, you guys. It is a beautiful afternoon here. This is the first sunny, beautiful day we've had in quite a while. It's been very rainy, and even the clouds this morning did not give me the hope that it was going to turn out to be this beautiful. It was like all these clouds had just kind of moved in and settled right on top of us. But here I am outside enjoying this sunshine. I feel like I'm in the mood to take a walk. Shh. And I got a loud chicken back there. I feel like I'm in the mood to take a walk and just soak up some of this sunshine. So why don't you all come along with me, all right? And then when I go inside, I've got a project I want to work on. So yesterday when I was out taking a walk, it was rainy, so this is going to be a nice treat today. This beautiful sunny day really had me reflecting on all the things that there are to be grateful for. As you are watching this video, it is my birthday, and I am turning 58 years old. Gratitude in even the smallest things is something that is very important to me, and there is no better way to fight discontentment in life than by gratitude and knowing the blessings that God has given us, and to be thankful to Him for just everything, the beauty around us, the small things, the big things. I know that God still has a wonderful plan for my life and a wonderful plan for everybody's lives, and it is good to just stop and focus on that. Take those moments to just enjoy the simple things around us. For me, a day of sunshine when there's been so many overcast, cloudy days, and just to know that we serve a God that is amazing. Many years ago, I had something happen that almost took my life, and that in itself is a very long story. But what it did for me is to make me incredibly thankful for each and every day that I have, and each and every day that I am able to be here to serve my family, my husband, serve God, and do all the things in life. And I'm so grateful to have not missed out on these years. So any moments of discontent that do come into my life, because I know it happens to all of us, I just try to look at those as the opportunity to express gratitude and thankfulness for all that God has done. Okay, whew, I definitely had to remove my sweater. I got very warm by the time I got back up here. Right now, what I'm going to do is show you the project I'm working on, all right? So let's go do that. Okay, well, I'm going to get to that project in just one second, but first I just wanted to say welcome to my channel, and I have a few other tidbits of fun and hopefully helpful information and things to share with you on this episode. I think that the most exciting news for my channel is that this week I hit 4,000 subscribers. I am just, I can't believe it, I guess. It's amazing to me, and I want to thank you all, because you are the ones that make that happen, and I so appreciate it, and it's nice to know that the things that I'm doing and the things that I share people are finding them helpful and informative and enjoyable to watch. So yeah, thank you guys. 4,000, it just kind of, a little bit mind-blowing actually, so I just wanted to say thank you very much for that. Okay, let's get on to that project. Let me show you what I have been doing. these are cloth bookmarks. So they're, you know, perfect for a little craft project. They don't take any time at all, and they use your, if I can turn this over gracefully, they use up your scrap fabric. You don't have to sew. Huh, how about that? It is a no-sew project, and it goes together really quick. I've actually had a lot of fun doing that. Look at that. I had this chicken fabric that I used for an apron, and so I kind of, you know, you can kind of pick and choose pieces on fabric if you want, and then the back side has these, you know, these little chickens. Isn't that cute? Okay, so my idea with these is I think that they would make awesome gifts to give away. You know, if you were sending somebody a card or giving them a card, they're not very thick, so you could easily stick one inside of an envelope. You could, if you were giving somebody a book, you could put one inside of a book. This is also a great craft project for children, you know, of a certain age that can handle being around an iron and cut with scissors and things like that. This, I plan to do some with my granddaughters here in the next day or two. So it's a great rainy day, rainy afternoon kind of project to do. And yeah, so let's get on and I'll show you how to do that. All you need to be able to do this is some double-sided fusible interfacing. And I got this off of Amazon. It came in sheets. You don't have to buy a huge amount in order to do this. And a pair of pinking shears. Those are the ones that give you the little ridges on the edges, which is why you don't have to sew. Now, you could sew these if you wanted to. The sheets of fusible interfacing are 9 by 12. There really isn't a set size for a bookmark, so I just did it so that I would not have any waste of my sheet of paper, that I would get maximum use out of it. I measured down at about 6.5 inches, then I cut the long end of the interfacing off at that point. Then I took the bigger piece that I had left and I cut that into 2-inch strips. I figured 2-inch was a good size for a bookmark. It could be a little bit bigger, but that seemed to work okay. So my first ones, those are 2.5 by 6.5, or I'm sorry, they're 2 inches by 6 inches. So then the little strip that I cut off the bottom, that one was also 2 inches, maybe just a little bit more, and I just simply cut that in half. So those bookmarks are a little bit shorter than the other 6, but altogether I was able to get 8 little strips. As I said, there's no set size for a bookmark, so you know, you can just mess around with what you have and whatever size that you would like. Once I had the interfacing cut, then I just cut my fabric scraps pretty much to match the same size. And at that point, all I had to do was lay out my fabric scraps that have been pre-cut, peel off one side of the interfacing and put that down onto the fabric. Then you peel off the other side, lay the other piece of fabric on top, and you iron that together. And then the very last step that you do is just cut around it with your pinking shears, and you are done. You certainly could embellish these more. You could add a little loop of ribbon and just tuck that in when you iron. You know, if you start adding ribbon and stuff, I haven't done that yet. You could add a little tail to it if you wanted, but you might have to tack that down and sew that down a little bit. If you want to reinforce it, of course you can sew, but you don't need to. They stick together, and I think they're just really kind of cute and fun to do. And another good use for scrap fabric. As I've been reading my book that I talked about in my last Homemakers Journal, I'm going to take out my sticky note that I used for a bookmark, and I'm going to put this pretty one in there instead. And there we go. Isn't that nice? Perfect. So I know I've talked about this before. I always like to have some extra breakfast foods in the freezer. Oftentimes my husband and I eat breakfast at different times, and he tends to eat earlier than I do. I like to have something that's kind of easy for him to pull out and heat up. And my favorite things to do are waffles. So I have 2 different waffle recipes I'm sharing with you today. And you'll notice I'm using my cute little mini waffle maker. I tell you, I love this little thing. I usually, when I get ready to make a batch of waffles, try to have something else that I'm doing in the kitchen. So because every 4 minutes you got to put in a new waffle. But if I'm cooking something else, or baking, doing whatever, cleaning my kitchen, then it's really no big deal to just stop and refill it. In any case, this first recipe that I'm going to share with you is cinnamon oat waffles, and boy were these good. I used regular oats. You could use quick cooking oats. I think the only difference, if you do regular oats like I did, they taste a little bit more hearty, which I actually liked. So, you know, you be the judge on that one. But they were easy to get mixed together. Your basic, do your dry ingredients first, do your liquid ingredients after that, combine them together, and make your waffles. Super easy. Now, this second recipe that I want to share with you is, these I liked a lot, and they were, again, a really easy maple flavored waffle to make. I used log cabin maple syrup and a little bit of maple flavoring. If you had real maple syrup, it might even actually give it an even better taste, but I didn't have any real, so we just went and rolled with what I had. And you mix your dry ingredients together as usual, and your liquid ingredients. The biggest difference is you're adding maple syrup to it. Also, I didn't have very much milk left, and I am not going grocery shopping for a few days, so I didn't want to use up my milk. So what I did is I grabbed a can of evaporated condensed milk off my pantry shelf. I always keep a few cans on hand so that I could use them for reasons like this. So if you're ever substituting it, it is about a 1-to-1 ratio. You need about half of that as canned milk and the other half as water. I mix the ingredients together on that, and this made a lot of these little 4-inch waffles. I think I ended up with about 16 of them. Most recipes give me about 8, but this one was a bit bigger. And again, super easy to put together. And in between making waffles, I had another project going on, and I was cooking something else, and I washed my dishes and did all the things. When I am done with that, and they have cooled off, I then put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer. I've never had them stick together. They're easy to just kind of pop apart, so I don't do a flash freeze with them. I just put them in the bag. And then when we want to use them, I just pull one out of the bag, put it in the toaster, and sometimes I have to do it twice just to make sure it's nicely toasted, but that little 4-inch size waffle fits great in the toaster. And I'm probably a little bit different than some, but when I have breakfast, I often like to put peanut butter on my waffle, or just put some butter on it and eat it like that. There you go. You make a couple batches of waffles like that, spend an afternoon, and your freezer is full for waffles for breakfast for quite a few days or more. So last week, or by the time this video goes out, it'll even be longer than that, we headed up into northern Washington to go visit my son and some other family that we have up there, and I took some video footage of our trip. Northern Washington is absolutely gorgeous. Well, I think all of Washington, Pacific Northwest side is pretty, but it seems like the farther you go up, there's a lot more waterways and things to see. And so we took a drive. We kind of took the scenic route just for a change of pace, and got to see the little beach communities that live along this. It's basically a canal that comes off of Puget Sound, which is coming in from the ocean, so it's affected by the tides and things like that. And there's, people do clamming and deep sea diving there, I guess, and so many little houses. I'm always amazed that somebody can take just a little postage stamp size lot and build their little house right on the water, and a lot of them, I think, are vacation homes and things like that. But anyway, it wasn't a very beautiful day. It was cloudy and overcast, but the scenery and the drive was just very pretty. So I hope you enjoy watching just a little bit of that. Not bad. And of course, the highlight for my husband and I was being able to spend time with my son on his birthday. It was his birthday that day. He had to work in the afternoon, so we were able to at least we took him out to breakfast, and we then just spent some time at his house, and then we went to a nearby park and spent a little bit of time with him there, and it was just really very nice to just be able to spend his 24th birthday with him. We also spent more time farther up along Puget Sound and in visiting other family, and got a little beachside time, and we didn't stay long. It was just a couple day trip, so we went and we came back. And okay, are you looking for a quick dinner to put together that you'd make everything in one pot and you can have dinner on the table in probably 30-40 minutes? Does that sound good? Well, it always sounds good to me, I tell you. So I'm going to show you, I did that this week, and I've shared this, I think, quite a long time ago on my channel, but I figured it was worth sharing again, just because we all could use a quick dinner sometimes, and one pot is the best. So this is a Mexican hamburger rice bake. You can bake it in the oven or make it on the top of the stove like I did. So you're going to begin by browning up a pound of hamburger. You're going to add some onions to that. You're going to add a little bit. I used the store brand Rotel tomatoes, but typically I use salsa. I just didn't have any, and it calls for a cup of frozen corn. I didn't quite have that, but I just threw in what I had. So you can see the recipe is super versatile. You mix that all together, and then you add in your rice, and you add either water or bouillon. So I must have missed filming it. I put in some water, and I had some Better Than bouillon that I get at Costco, and I threw a scoop in there. You stir that up and put the lid on, reduce the heat, and let that simmer away for 20 minutes or so until the rice is cooked and the liquid's been absorbed. When it's all done, you can throw cheese on the top and put the lid back on. After you've turned the burner off, of course, put the lid back on and just let it sit there while you get everything else ready for dinner. And by the time you take off the lid, the cheese is nice and melted. So it's a very good meal. We actually ate on it for 2 nights, so it can be stretched if there's only 2 of you, or you can double it if there's more. If you want to bake it in the oven, after you add the rice and your broth and you get it boiling, stir that up, put the lid on, and you can also pop it in the oven at about 400 degrees for 20 minutes. So either way, that's how simple it is. Okay, you guys, that is all for Homemaker's Journal, and like I said, I hope you found something fun, interesting, informative, helpful, any of those good things to encourage your homemaking and encourage you as a homemaker. That's my goal with these Homemaker's Journals. All right, you guys, I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.